Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are having a great night. This is my latest build. This is a F1 Firearms custom AR-15 build, Palmetto State lower, and various other items that I selected. We will go over everything, cost factor, functionality, my personal opinions for the first mag impressions, and try to answer some questions that I've seen on the internet as far as skeletonized builds. Mainly, how dirty do they get? Do they not get dirty? Do they jam? There's been a slew of questions out there. I figured the only way I could actually answer that is do the build myself. And knowing what I know now, would I spend the money on this build and do it ever again? That is a good question. So if you guys have any experience with any skeletonized guns or F1 firearms, drop a comment. I'm really curious to know how your builds are doing. I don't see a whole lot of videos on YouTube compared to others on these kind of builds. So I really am curious. And if you have any questions about this build, feel free to ask. I will try to answer them as best I possibly can. So if you like this content, like and subscribe, and let's dive into it. If you're looking for an AR platform, in my opinion, okay, so an AR platform that is a damn good value for the money, the Ruger AR-556. J&K Associates, I believe, is selling that gun for $600 or less, somewhere around that price point. That may have changed, but I would contact them if you're looking for something in a budget point that is beyond worth the money. So the reason why I bring that up is I don't want to give the impression that you have to go out there and spend this much money on a build, because you don't. You absolutely don't. Alright, we're going to start from the rear and we're going to work our way forward. So this is what I call the Glock of all buttstocks. Everybody has one. This is going to be the Missions First Tactical Minimalist stock. You have your QD mount right here, and then you have an awesome cheek weld purchase across here. For me, at least, everybody's different when they shoot. You know how they feel while they're shooting the gun. But you know, whenever I'm shooting this, it feels spot on as far as cheek weld and presentation when I'm bringing the gun up. But I say this the Glock of all buttstocks because literally everybody has one for good reason. You can find this nowadays for on sale right around $40. You can't beat it, honestly. Working our way to the castle nut, I chose to go with V7s. This is going to be in titanium, and that's roughly about 70 bucks. Definitely not cheap. It adds to the build, but that is something I want to test out, and so far I have no complaints. Again, you don't have to use that. You can go to the standard mil spec and a hell of a lot cheaper. Moving to the grip, I chose the K2 Magpul, and I was newly introduced to this actual grip when I purchased the Noveske Infidel Gen 4. So that came from factory with the Noveske, and I got to tell you, the aggressive angle on this grip was spot on. It's not too fat, it's not too thin. It's pretty comparable to the BCM grips, to be honest with you. But it allowed me to get to my trigger while I was engaging without moving my hand at all. Again, everybody's different, right? So your hand might be smaller, bigger, but you can't beat it in my opinion. For the price point, I got two of these for 30 bucks. Primary Arms was on sale. So for $15, I ended up putting that grip on my Mark 18 and all the rest of my platforms. No complaints whatsoever. So that is going to lead us to this single stage drop-in velocity trigger. Let's go ahead and do a trigger pull on that and see how it pulls. That is pretty light. It's definitely lighter than it was in my previous build, that's for sure. It was breaking right around 3 pounds. But I guess after shooting it, it's lightened up some. Let's do one more on this. There he goes. That's closer to 3 pounds. This is a Palmetto State lower. And you can get these lowers roughly for about 40 bucks. I absolutely love Palmetto State. I really do. Give a shout out to Connor from Hanover Armory. They're absolutely amazing. I came up to him pretty much last minute on this lower. This, obviously, if you've seen the previous video, the Trooper build, this was white. And I came up to him last minute. I was like, look, I'm in the middle of doing another build. can you do me a favor and paint this back to black? And not only did he do it within a couple of days, but I mean the paint is just spot on. It is dirty right now because I did not clean it after I got done shooting it. So Connor, Hanover Armory, hey, I can't thank you guys enough. Moving to the safety selector switch, I decided to go with a company called Fortis. This is their Super Lean Sport, and this is ambidextrous. If you take a look here, you actually have an adjustment inside a switch. You can change this to a 45 or 90-degree throw, depending on what's comfortable to you. Cost is about $67. It's a little bit expensive, which brings me to a subject I want to touch base on very quickly. When you're choosing components for your gun, I would at least at a minimum go with mil-spec standards. They test their guns to certain standards as far as safety, and in my opinion, safety is the most important thing. So when you're choosing key components such as a selector or your trigger, make sure you get good quality parts. The last thing you want to do is run around, you think your gun's unsafe, and it's not. It falls down, it's on fire, and before you know it, you endanger yourself or somebody else. This is the F1 Firearms UDR-15 3G stripped upper receiver. As you can tell, it's skeletonized. And the first question I had when I saw this is, wow, is it worth the money? Will dirt get built up inside? Will dirt kick out? I mean, how will it shoot? I debated this for a while before I did this build. So I went ahead and spent the money. It was $247 just for the upper receiver. It is pretty expensive, but I can tell you when this thing arrived, the build quality blew me away. Just looking at it absolutely blew me away. And then after putting about 400 rounds through it, I was really impressed by how clean this thing actually stays. Now again, I'm not out in the field. I'm not working in a desert environment and so on and so on, but as an average civilian, I don't think you can go wrong with this kind of build. It's pretty impressive. As we saw in the bolt carrier, there was literally no dirt at all. I mean, that's it. After 400 rounds, that is all that was on the bolt carrier. That really is absolutely crazy to me. And it feels like oil. I mean, you can wipe this thing down as many times as you possibly can, and it still feels like you lubricated the heck out of this thing. I mean, what the heck? Yeah, F1, you guys, you did an amazing job on this bolt carrier. From the functionality perspective and what I have right in front of me, I definitely think this is worth the money. You might call me crazy, but you know, my fiance does that as well. Working our way to the Handguard. This is Alpha Shooting Sports. This is their M-Lock pitchfork design, and this is going to be in 6061 aluminum. Barrel length is about 15.8 inches, and they're using a Type 3 anodized black. Love the coating so far, got no complaints. Total weight is 13.8 ounces, very light. So for a rail this long, for the real estate that it provides and the weight, this is perfect what I want. I'm not comparing this to any kind of Daniel Defense quad rails or anything that's pretty robust and you would use out in the field. Again, this is just going to be probably a bench gun, a fun build. So if anybody's wondering how robust this rail is going to be, I really don't know at this point. I've only shot about 400 rounds to it.